In this video, we're going to be reviewing the Springfield 1911 Garrison in 45 ACP. I recently picked up this Garrison model on a Black Friday sale where one of my favorite gun stores actually had a 10% off sale, and I considered buying the Garrison, both the blued and the stainless steel. And I'll explain the reasons why I actually picked the blued model here as we go through the review. But one of the conclusions I came up with when they came out with the Garrison model, unlike some of the other models that they've had, is this arguably might be the highest value 1911 on the market today. And I'm going to go through some of the features today and the reasons why. There certainly are better 1911s on the market, no question about it. The question is, are they worth the difference in cost? And that's something you can figure out for yourself. For me, I own and review quite a bit of 1911s, and I think this really might be one of the best values in the market today. Now, when you look at 1911s, there's different price ranges and quality tiers that they go within, and this falls within what I refer to as the mid-range 1911s that usually cost between around $700 to $1,100 in that range. So my first full-size 1911 that I purchased way back in my youth was ironically a stainless version GI model of a Springfield 1911, and it was arguably one of the most reliable handguns I've ever owned. And when I went to the sale recently on Black Friday to pick up this model, I was able to pick it up basically at the low end, or actually the base range of that $700 to $1,100 range, which to me screamed out, I need to pick this up and check it out and see what you really get for this kind of money. Now, as far as the naming, Springfield has been coming out with some interesting names recently. Of course, Loaded was one of the models they've had, TRP, Ronin was another one, and of course Garrison. And if Garrison basically means by definition to be stationed or defending a location, so why they came up with that name, I don't know. But again, it's just another model name line that they have out there. There's a lot of similarities between all their models, but there's some little differences as well, and we're going to go through those. The first thing is this is a standard 1911 full size, full weight. So we're talking about a pistol that comes in around 37 ounces, or basically 2 pounds and 6 ounces in total weight. The two current models that they offer in this are in the blued, which is basically a hot salt blue finish, as well as a stainless steel model finish. So you basically have two options currently to buy these Garrison. So let's go ahead and jump into some of the features. The first thing is it comes with a checkered flat mainspring housing with a slight beveled edge. And one of the things I like about the Springfields that have been coming out is they do have a small amount of beveling on the edge here compared to old traditional 1911s where you had a bit of a sharper edge. And when you carry your gun in a cant, this actually can make a difference. A lot of people will actually bobtail or get even bigger cuts back here, but just the beveling alone is something that I really like. And of course, it's checkered as well. It also has an extended high ride beaver tail with a memory hump. So again, you see these in a lot of the high-end 1911s today as well. It also has an extended thumb safety. Now, all of my pistols here have been safety checked before the review, but it does have a single right-handed extended thumb safety. It is not ambidextrous, so if you're a left-handed shooter or prefer to have a ambidextrous safety, you might want to look at some of the models like the Loaded that we've previously reviewed, where it does come standard with an ambidextrous safety. Me personally, on my 1911s, I prefer to just have the left-handed side extended thumb safety, so this is right up my alley. It also has a skeletonized blued hammer, which is kind of nice. A lot of times you'll see two tones on these. It's not. It matches the color framing. And it also has a skeletonized trigger, and it's stainless. Now, the pull weight on the trigger with my lineman gauge for this trigger comes in around 3 pounds, 8 ounces, and it's a nice, crisp break. Now, the only thing you might notice with this, especially if you're sensitive to 1911 triggers, is the reset is just a little creepy on the 1911. There's a couple ways, and you can see it there. It's just a little creepy on the reset. That might change over time as you fire the gun more, but at least for me, the trigger is a good trigger. But if you're really sensitive to the reset of the trigger, that might be an issue for you. It might be something that either breaks in over time, or it's something you just have to deal with pointing your pistol and shooting it. There's also a over travel adjustment screw on the trigger as well. So again, good trigger system. Not great, but good. It also comes with a thin line double diamond checkered walnut grips, and these have the cross cannons on here that you're typically used to seeing. Now, these are different than standard width grips, and at the naked eye view, it might not look like there's much of a difference, but when you contrast the two, and these are the standard full-size grips, you can see there's quite a bit of difference there in the width of the grips between the two. And again, it might be hard to see this to the naked eye initially, but it really has a difference in how the gun feels in your hand. Now, normally I prefer to have the slim grips on my commander models or my lightweight models, and I usually prefer to have the full-size grips on my full-size models. However, this one I might actually keep on here. Not only are they beautiful grips, they look nice, but on this pistol, these actually work really well for me. And I think I'm going to leave these on. I won't change them out. But if you have larger hands, you might notice a difference between these grips. And of course, you can swap these out if we need to. Or again, there are other lines out there, including the loaded models that come standard with the full-size grips. So again, if you have a large paw, I have a standard size hand. I can shoot both. But if you have a larger paw, you might actually want to have a little bit bigger grips. It also comes with the standard GI guide rod and spring system, which is original to the design of the 1911 as opposed to the full-length guide rods, which I typically do not prefer. I've discussed those in other videos as well. So I do like the spring system that comes with. Now, looking at the slide, it comes with low-profile Novak 3-dot sight systems. And again, this is a great system. Now, some people might say, well, I prefer to have, other types of sights, or maybe, for example, like on the Ronin, the fiber optic front sight. There's pros and cons to both. One of the things about the fiber optics are, for me at least, is they're great when you have enough ambient light out there for them to work. But in low light situations, I actually don't like the fiber optic sights. So if you feel like you're going to ever shoot in a low light situation, you might want to have either a night sight option or just the standard 3-dot sight option, which I prefer. And this is something that I do like on the pistol. The backside serrations are on the slide. There are no front side serrations. So again, this cuts down the cost a little bit. Some of the more higher end models, you'll see the front side serrations. You really have to ask yourself whether you're going to even use those. I never do. So to me, not having front side serrations makes no difference to me whatsoever. Now, looking at the barrel, it is a match grade stainless barrel with a match grade stainless bushing. And the fit between the two is excellent. Usually what you would find in a high-end 1911, you find here with this barrel and bushing. Now, we talked a moment ago about the finish of the gun. This comes in a hot salt bluing finish, and if it looks familiar to you, it's because this is the same finish they use on the Ronin models, these two-tone Ronin models that people just love the look of the bluing. Well, I love the look of the bluing here as well. And one of the things that they do, which is typical to a Springfield, is they have the two-tone. So they have the two-tone with the matte finish on the top and the bottom with the polished finish on the side. And to me, this is just beautiful. And you don't typically see this type of quality of bluing on 1911 models in this price range. And that's one of the reasons why I bought this one over a stainless, which I otherwise would have bought traditionally in the past, just because I absolutely love the look of the bluing. Now, some of the notable features that are not included, for example, are there is no front strap checkering on here. So if that's something that's very important to you, there are more expensive models. This is one of the things that they can cut the cost down of a 1911 by not doing this. For me personally, when I'm shooting a full-size 1911, I don't need the front strap checkering. To me, it is fine and it feels fine when I fire it without this. There's also no slight undercut for the trigger underguard cut here, which some people prefer, but again, that's something you would typically see on other types of 1911s. It's only a slight amount of cut, and to some people, they wouldn't even notice the difference. As I alluded to before, Springfield has come out with a number of different 1911 variants over the years, including, for example, things that we've reviewed here, such as the Ronins, which I did a 10mm review on. They also have range officers, they have loaded models, which I've reviewed, TRP, etc. Now, when you buy the Garrison model, it comes with one 7-round magazine. And some people might say, well, I wish I had more magazines with that. Well, one is it keeps the cost down. The second thing is, the reality is if you end up shooting 1911s often, you're going to probably use better magazines anyways than the stock magazines that come with the pistol. So one of my favorites, of course, are the Wilson Combat magazines. And I prefer to use them anyway, so whether or not it comes with one or more magazines, I usually don't use those magazines. I'll usually upgrade it to the better magazines. I've been using Wilson Combats for decades now, and to me, they're one of the best, if not the best, magazines on the market today. Now, as far as accuracy is concerned, how good is the Garrison compared to, for example, the Kimber Custom TLA2? So the Kimber is a pistol that I have had for over a decade now. It is a higher end 1911, very accurate. So one of the things I wanted to do is figure out, okay, how good is the Garrison in performance to the Kimber? So in this case, what I did is I shot two different groups, one at 8 yards, using the same type of ammunition with both the Springfield as well as the Kimber. And when you notice, when you look at both of these groups at an 8-yard set, they're almost identical. So at least at 8 yards, I don't see any difference. So taking this out to 15 yards, again, this is the group for the Springfield Garrison. This is a group for the Kimber Custom TLE2. Again, almost identical groups. So what does this tell me as far as accuracy is concerned with the Garrison? Am I giving up anything compared to, for example, a custom TLA2 or anything else? No. This is actually a very accurate pistol. And clearly, I'm not losing anything by even spending a couple $100 left to buy a gun like this over, for example, a TLE, by virtue of the fact that, at least for me, the accuracy is almost identical. Now, some of the things I love about the Springfields are they are 100% reliable. They have been for me for years. This is no exception. I put a couple hundred rounds to it already. Absolutely zero fail to feeds. If I ever have any types of issues like that with any gun, let alone a 1911, it will absolutely not be in my safe for long. But I've never had that problem with Springfields. This is one of the reasons why I own a number of them. Another great thing about the Garrison I noticed was that the slide to frame fit is very tight. And I've already fired a couple hundred rounds through this, and it's unusual to see a gun, a 1911 in this price range, without any types of play between the slide and the frame. These are normally things that you get in very high-end 1911s when people have to do hand fitting. At least with the one that I received, this is an extremely tight fit between the slide and the frame, as well as the barrel and the bushing, which to me screams quality. And that's one of the reasons why I love this gun as well. I also considered, as I alluded to earlier, buying the stainless steel version, but when I looked at the two together in the gun cabinet and handled both of them, I just came to the conclusion that the blue was absolutely beautiful. I had to buy it. So I do own other stainless models, including like the loaded model here with Springfield. But for some reason, I mean, just the hot salt bluing that they do, it's just so unique and so beautiful. That was one of the things I decided to go with. Now, that might be different for you. If you live in foul weather environments, maybe you live in humid environments where things get wet a lot or things, you might want to actually spend that little extra money to get the stainless version of this. But at least for me, I don't live in one of those environments, so to me, the bluing made the most sense. The other thing I would mention, especially if you're newer to 1911s, is 1911s are not lightweight guns to carry, especially when they're in stock standard configurations like this. So if you're looking for something for everyday type carry, you might want to look at some of the versions, including models that we've reviewed before, that have aluminum frames or commander sizes to cut down some of that weight. But if you're looking to shoot full stout loads, plus P type loads and things like that, then you want to go with the standard model. And the final thing I would allude to here is when you look at all these features that are on the Garrison that are offered in this today, the accuracy I'm able to get out of it, and the amount of money I was able to spend to get this, it really screams to me, at least currently in the market today, that this might actually be the best value in 1911s in the market today, period. A lot of guns I review or I buy, but I don't always keep all of them. But this might actually be one that I do, because the value is so good. It's just something you don't see every day, and that's one of the reasons why I was excited to do the review of the Garrison for you today. So this is a gun, again, high quality, will last a lifetime. This is something you can hand down from generation to generation. If there was only one recommendation I would have to Springfield moving forward on these, is they need to offer additional models in the commander size, where they cut down the barrel, and maybe do a lightweight version as well with aluminum frame. But short of that, if you're looking to get either your first 1911 or add to your collection of 1911s, I really have a hard time arguing against the Garrison. This, to me, is one of the best values, if not the best value on the 1911 market today. It's fun to shoot, very well built, high quality, and highly recommended. If you like this video or like our channel, please subscribe on YouTube, and thanks for watching.